I'm going to take you now straight back to court. The bail application of Zandile Mafe currently underway.
No, not at the moment.
And as you stand there, you are in your sound and sober senses. Is that correct?
That's correct.
Now, you are from the Northwest province originally. Is that correct? Do I understand you correctly?
Exactly.
And language-wise, what languages are you able to speak?
It is Sitswana, but also I can also speak Xhosa.
And English?
English, Yana. I don't have a problem with English. I also speak English.
And even Afrikaans, is that not correct? You're quite fluent in Afrikaans, I understand.
In Afrikaans
Yes, we also speak Afrikaans mostly there in Mafeking.
You learned your Afrikaans where? In Mafeking or elsewhere?
Afrikaans yakho yona uyifundele eMafeking kwenye indawo.
kaloku kwasesikolweni eMafeking ukusuka nje ku-grade 1 ukuyogqiba isikolo Afrikaans ikhona seyifundiswa.
Yes, but that is from grade 1 up until I finished school. We were taught Afrikaans there in Mafeking.
From Mafeking, did you ever find yourself in Ventersdorp area, that side of the world?
Zindawo zami i-Ventersdorp ezikata kwi-Gitter branch Phaphula Plaza yonke zindawo zami ezo.
Those are my places there in Ventersdorp, there by the farms, places of Eugene, Terre Blanche, and who? Can't hear you. And then? The owners of those farms in Ventersdorp, are my friends. Those are Eugene Terre Blanche.
Eugene Terre Blanche, obviously deceased now. You counted him as a friend in the past?
Mr. Terre Blanche, yes, when he was alive, he was my friend, but he was killed in 2010 on Good Friday, on Good Friday, yes.
Was he a hero to you? Did you find him to be a hero to you?
20? Okay, that was year 2010. He was killed in his farm.
And what about Janus Wallus? Are you a friend of his or do you know him?
Janus Wallus,
Kaloku ndibhalile napha okwinantsika kwincwadi ndipha eBerry South uba ndicela uJanus Wallus akhululwe ngelegend zikafebruwari.
There also in paper, there in the books, I wrote that Mr. Janus Wallus must be released on the 11th of February. The reason is because he has been in custody for 27 years. So I was requesting that he should be released on the 11th of February, the date that Mr. Mandela was released.
In fact, you didn't request, you demanded that he should be released, isn't that?
Ngoko ke wena ke into obuyipunyazisa uba makakhululwe. Uyipunyazisa loo nto uba makakhululwe.
Uthi nyaka nenyanga kunikwa ifene yakhe ikhulu lamawaka werandi ene ixesha lokuthi akhululwe naye.
Ifemeli yakhe ithini?
Ndithi ngenyanga ifemeli yakhe inikwa sisiteti ikhulu lamawaka.
Wait. What I'm saying is that his family is given 100,000 rand per month by the state. Ucho, his family. Then that because he had served the same duration in custody as Mr. Mandela, that justice must also be served to him.
The state of the nation dress up
and that is the address of the state nation should be cancelled this year.
Okay, we'll come back to this with your permission a bit later. But for now, I just want to check something with you. You stood there and the learned magistrate warned you that anything you say in this bail application can be used against you in a subsequent trial. Did you understand those rights?
Yes.
And so, as you stand there, you fully understand that you don't need to talk about the merits in this case. You understand?
Yes.
Now, part of, once you received that warning this morning, Advocate Mpofu, your legal representative, he handed up a bundle to court.
Yes.
And of course, this bundle was handed with full knowledge that you do not need to speak about the merits in this matter.
Yes.
Now, page 18 of the bundle reads as follows. It refers to my arrest.
Okay. Uthi ke sawuthetha ke malunga ke ngento ebhale pha ku page 18 apho kubhalwe ukubanjwa kwam. Yes.
You follow? Let me read something to you. These are your words. So that's nothing new. I'll read them back to you.
Sakufundela ke uyazi ke lento endifundayo ke ngamazi akho kanye into oyithethileyo.
Worship, is there an objection?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes, Your Worship, yes. I want to voice an objection and also to maybe more than an objection to warn my learned friend that there is an agreement and the witness has made it clear that he will not deal with any matters to do with the merits of the case. That is why we stayed away from any issues to do with the merits whatsoever.
Does this contain in the affidavit? So let's hear what the question is and
Yes.
if needs to be advised.
Thank you.
Worship, not to belabor this point, there's no agreement of such nature in place between the state and the defense. The defense has indicated that they are not going to go into the merits. Your Worship, the argument of the state will be at the end of this bail application that the state has a strong case And the accused may not get another opportunity to respond to the state's case unless they choose to reply. So I'm more than within my rights to pose questions to the accused. He can elect to answer them or not. Is the court pleased?
So, I'm sorry, Worship. Not out of any disrespect for my learned friend. Maybe you didn't understand the nature of my objection. I'm not saying that there's any agreement. I've said that this was an indication from the accused, both in his affidavit to this court as well as in the box. And as far as the second issue regarding the seriousness or whatever, then the objection is even made worse because then it's irrelevant. The issue of the seriousness of the offences is common cause. The witness has said that the offences are serious.
The seriousness is unfortunately not at play here. We are dealing with the strength and merits of the state's case. Perhaps the seriousness and strength are being confused. The state will have to show this court that there's a strong case against the accused, and the only way to do that is to pose the case of the state to the accused, so he can indicate to us that, no, we're talking nonsense. He can reply to us and comment. If he does not have any comment, he must indicate so. But as to this question, based on paragraph 8 or page 18 of the affidavit of this accused, I'm asking questions. I'm not posing anything at this stage to the merits. It's merely questions around what he has posed himself in his affidavit, and he's disclosed bearing full knowledge of his rights. Yes,
I've already indicated on the now question.
thank you, Your Worship. This is what you state in your affidavit, Mr. Mafe.
Yes.
You say here, I was arrested on the 2nd of January 2022 after 6 o'clock in the morning.
Utheke phana ke waye wabanjwa ngomhla wethu zikaJanuwari kunyaka ka-2022 kwakungo-6 ekuseni. Yes.
Prior to my arrest, I had been sleeping outside the precinct of the building known as the South African Parliament, in brackets Parliament, and was woken up by members of the South African Police Services.
Utheke into yokuba ngaba phambi kokubanjwa kwakho ke ubulala ke phaa kulaa ndawo yasingasepalamente kangoba ke waye wabanjwa ke ngaphandle kwepalamente ngamapolisa oMzantsi Afrika. That is true.
That is true. I then noticed for the first time that the large Parliament building was ablaze with black smoke escaping from the roof.
Uthi uye waqaphela ke ngolo thuba into yokuba ngaba isakhiwo esisepalamente ke ngoku simnyama ke ngumsi uyatsha.
Ingathi ezo zezidani sizoya ekungekho asisithi uqaba kuthi uthuthise apha asithi nge-merits zaphaya ukwi-question before phambi kwayo ubuze loo nto ngendawo leyo uyaphinda futhi kanti no ezi zinto zase-trial.
I'll deal with those issues on trial. Even it was even said here that he will also pose a question about the merits of the case. So those things we'll deal with them on trial.
Yes, it's not that easy. You've chosen to deal with with what is contained in this affidavit.
But I think to touch on the merits, so the applicant is entitled to review.
As court please. Your Worship, I'll ever proceed to read back his words to him, and he can comment or not comment as he says he has chosen. As court please.
Uzaqhubekeka akufundele into esuka kuwe yilaa ngxelo esuka kuwe yayabona so wena uzazikhethela uthi ndizayiphendula okanye afuna uphendula kuloo nto izathethayo utsho. Yes.
It is worth mentioning that at the time of my arrest, I was severely and violently manhandled and intimidated by the members of the South African Police Services, or SABC, who also dragged me into the precinct of Parliament, where I was given boxes to carry by those members of the SAPS. Oh, sorry, I didn't see you there.
No, I'm sorry, Worship. I just want to place on record, I'm not going to repeat myself, but I object to this line of questioning for the reasons I stated before, but now more so because the witness has specifically said he does not want this line of questioning because it deals with the merits. But I'll leave it there. It's very prejudicial, obviously.
Who has indicated that the full part of your affidavit, I would allow the applicant to read it into the record, but the applicant's attitude regarding these questions is noted.
Thank you.
Your Worship, not to belabor the point, but this applicant must be afforded, according to 6011A, the reasonable opportunity to respond to the state's case. And I'm affording you that responsibility. As the court is. I do not know what the contents of the boxes were. My own belongings were confiscated by the SABC. Sorry?
Please start over with.
From the beginning?
Yes.
Okay. It is worth mentioning that at the time of my arrest, I was severely and violently manhandled and intimidated by members of the South African Police Services.
Usithi-ke umtshutshisi ngokwengqondo yakho into yokuba ke ngela xesha ke waye wahlukunyezwa kakhulu ukaba wade wagrogriswa uphetheke kakubi ngamapolisa.
Who dragged me into the precinct of Parliament.
La mapolisa ke aye akutsala kurhupela pha eParliament.
Where I was given boxes to carry by those members of the SABC.
Apho ke uthi pha eParliament waye wanikwa ke ibhokisi uba makuzibambe unikwa ngamapolisa.
I do not know what the contents of the boxes were.
Usithi ungayazi bayintoni engaphakathi kwezo box kuthiwa ziphathe.
My own belongings were confiscated by the SABC.
Usithi ezakho izinto ezakho ngokwakho zaye zathathwa ngamapolisa.
Do you have any comments, Mr. Mafe?
Ngivile nayo ikhona into ofuna iphendula kuloo nto.
Ndiyazi nje akho endinophendula
There's nothing to comment or to respond on before the time.
Do you want to perhaps comment on the fact that this is part of your application for bail? These statements are part of your application for bail.
Ngaba ke uyafuna uphendula into yokuba ngaba laa ngxelo ndiyifundayo phana zizinto ezithethwe nguwe, izinto wena ozithetha for ukwenza esi sicelo sakho sebheli, ungqono obusebenzisayo for esi sicelo sakho sebheli.
Ndiyazi mna ibheli enye yokuqoqoqa ndiyazi kuthiwe nantsika i-judge president ecela nantsikuba yobasekhona.
What I know, I'm here for bail. So about the case, the Judge President said that it will be dealt in the High Court.
Yes, Mr. Mafe, you are here for a bail application and this is forming part of your application. Do you understand?
Uthi ewe kunjalo ulapha kule nkundla namhlanje kuba usenza isicelo sebheli. Ezanto zifunda phana bubungqina bakho malunga ngesicelo sakho sebheli. I don't agree with what you are reading because it's what you are reading is about the merits of the case, which will deal with the merits of the case in the High Court. So I don't agree with you.
I don't follow you, Mr. Mafe. Do you not agree with the contents of this document?
Yabuza ke ngaba awuvumelani nalanto ibhalwe pha kwelaqwe aliphethe shansi elafundayo awuvumelani nozibhalwe pha.
Ijonge ngathi into already.
It seems like it's something that is already in the High Court.
It's your affidavit.
Uthi tata magama ke si statement sakho asifundayo uthi
Your affidavit, your words under oath.
yakho ngamazwi akho into ethethileyo leyana ayifundayo.
Are they the truth
Ngaba ke
or are they lies?
kanye ke ziyaphosisa. Inyana iqoqo ukuthetha.
hayi okwa angizilindela ibazile hamba phandle okuqathango yena izinto ezidibane nokungeliwe ngoba zinto ezingathi case leyo high court.
I did not expect this, and that I'm here for the bail conditions and about the case that I'm expected to hear about it in the High Court.
For the sake of progress, let me proceed to the next paragraph. So I just want to understand your answer. You're not commenting on this, or you don't want to comment. It's the truth, but you don't want to comment. It's a lie. I just want to make sure of your answer.
Uthi ke ngibona bathi ngathi awuphenduli kahle ubuzo engibuza wona kodwa ke ufuna ke siqhubekele. Ingaba kanye kanye into engicela ngiqonda kunje. Ingaba ezinto zibhalwe khona zinyama okanye izinto ziliqo.
Khona comment ubuzo ngoba indlela eshala lazo into izele isaziwa yasona mhlawumbe ezinye zingadibani nale nto yale yona ifuna nje imkhathazo.
I'm not going to comment on that because what we hear about, what we are here for is about the bail. So other things, we're not going to deal with them here.
Okay. Unfortunately, it's not as easy as that, Mr. Mafe. I'm still entitled to pose these questions to you, and as you've done now, you may elect not to comment or not answer. You understand?
Uthi ke yena ingamebuyo yena ngicela ukuthi sokona indlela ukuthi ke ngabuza ke ngezinto ezisuka kuwo yaqonda cha wena ukuthi hayi ngizayiphendula lonto hayi angiziphendula lonto. Okay. Yes.
So, paragraph 20 of your affidavit reads, in the process, the members of the SABC accused me of having caused the fire which was burning in Parliament. I denied this.
Uthi ke kulonto ke yayisenzeka oko ke amapolisa ke aye ke akuthola into mangaba nguwe unobangela walamlilo upha eParliament. Wena uthi khange uyivume lonto. Awayivuma lonto emapoliseni. I said that I'm not going to comment on this, that I will deal with the merit of the case in the High Court.
Thank you. Paragraph 21 of your affidavit. I was then taken to Cape Town Central Police Station. A few hours later, I was booked out by an unknown man and taken to an unknown place.
Usithi ke pa page 21 ke waye ke wangeniswa ke pha epolice station eSentral apha eKapa emveni koko ke waye ke wazokhutshwa ke indoda ongayaziyo out by the army. Wazokhutshwa ke ngapha epolice station indoda ongayaziyo
And taken to an unknown place.
okay lo muntu ke ngokwakuthatha wakusa kwindawo ongayaziyo. No comment.
We traveled by car to an unknown place.
Uthi ke nalo mntu ke wayo hamba naye ke wahamba nawe nani hamba ngemoto nisiya kwindawo wena ongayazi.
Do you know somebody by the name, or have you ever called somebody by the name of Obas Teron?
Uyamazi umuntu ogama lungu Obasteron.
Lo kalau enye into ngoba ngiyamazi kodwa izinto engithi sangenela idibana ne-High Court.
Even if I know him, that I'll dare deal with that at the High Court.
Do you know this man here, sitting here?
Yes.
Who is he?
Manoa,
I'm pointing at the gentleman standing.
that's Obasteron.
That's Obastron. He is actually Colonel Christian Toron, the investigating officer in this matter.
Kaba ke umphathi ophezulu kuthiwa nguKenneth ke wamapolisa kaba ngumphandi wedala. Yes.
And you have nicknamed him Obastron, is that correct?
Kaba wena ke nguwe ke omthiye nje igama ke elingelinye elingibani Obasteron. Uwe.
Is that correct? Answer. We need to hear your answer, Mr. Mafe.
Ngibendile ithi ngomthiye lo gama nguObasteron. Kuthiwa mthiye lo gama wena. Igama lotekethisa ungize lo gama nguObasteron. Yes, I can hear what you're saying.
Sorry, I just interrupted paragraph 21. So we've ended at the unknown place that you were taken to the vehicle. Then it reads as follows. At the place, an unknown white man told me that I would be sentenced to death for burning Parliament unless I cooperated with them.
Usithi ke wena ke apho kuloo ndawo ke wasiwa kuyo ke waphinde wadibena ke nenye indoda phana umntu ke omhlophe oye waxelela into yokuba ngaba ke uyakugwetya ke ubomi bakanye kufa uba ngokutshisa kwakho ipalamente ngaphandle uba wena ungasebenzisana nabo. I don't comment to such things.
You don't want to comment? Right, then we finish. I was terrified. As a result, I promised to cooperate with whatever they may require of me.
Uthi ke indlela osoyika ngayo ke waye wathembisa ke uza kusebenzisana nabo nakwintoni na abafuna kuyo okanye abayifunayo. As I've said, I won't comment, or I don't have a comment until we go to the High Court.
However, this turned out to be an empty promise from the white man, as I was not released and I'm still in police custody almost 2 weeks later.
Kubonakala ke into bangaba ke zange ke lo ezozithembiso ke zifezekiswe kuba kaloku waye waphindwa kuyisele ezivalelweni uba usesevalelweni.
You say in paragraph 22, later on that day I was taken to my place of abode in Kailicha, where a search was conducted by the members of the SABC.
Usithi ke phaya kwemini ke ngalamini ke waye wasiwa ke indawo ohlala kuyo phaya eKhayilisha kwafike ke ngokwasetshwa ke indlu leyo. As I've said that I'm not going to comment on that until I've been in court.
Perhaps you'd like to comment on this, Mr. Mafe. Reading paragraphs 17 to 22, one would get the impression that the police have fabricated a case against you in this matter.
What you're saying is the merit of the case with deal about that in the High Court.
Perhaps that's not actually on the merits. The question wasn't related to the merits.
What about again? I'm going to
It's merely an impression.
So I'm not going to respond to it.
Thank you. So, reading this paragraph in isolation, would you agree that it appears that the state has no case against you?
Which paragraph?
These paragraphs.
Oh.
Sorry?
Sorry, I see Mr. Bob was on his feet.
Yes, Your Worship, this is just a waste of time. The rules in trust examination is that once the question is asked and answered, that's it. That's the same question that the witness just said is not going to answer. doesn't matter how you can ask it 100 times from different angles.
If I'm asking a different question as opposed to a different statement, I mean, it's not the same question. His answer is the same, but the question is certainly not the same.
Hopefully now. The question was that you were indicating that the state has a weak precedent if one looks at these telegrams.
Okay. Uthi-ke into ebithela ngushushisi-ke sithi umshushisi bangaba akho bungqina bungako obukunamathelisa kweli tyala. Uthi into oyithethileyo apho.
Ngiyakwazi ukuphendula noba ngiyawuva umbuzo uthini kodwa ngiyakwazi ukuphendula ngoba ngemva sekhona ihayi.
Even if I understand the question, but even if I understand your statement, but I can't answer or comment on that, we'll deal with that in the high court.
So one of the things that I noticed was not part of your exceptional circumstances that were in your affidavit or suggested by your defense counsel was that the state had a weak case against you. It's not there.
Uthi ke nento bangaba ke kobungqina bungako bungqina bungako bunamathelisa kweli tyala ayonto ke igqotha lakho ibekileyo nanjengesizathu benkundla funeka isithathele ingqalelo kwabo isicelo sakho. Uthi ayikho phaa kwezaa zizathu igqotha lakho ebizibekile.
You agree?
Ngiyavuma.
Angivuma okunjena ukungaphendulwa okanye ungakhomenti ngithathela okwemeriti yena nzika kuba ingekafiki mhlawumbe i-high court nanzika ezibhekona andithele uvuma nokungavuma yandisala
I'm not going to respond to agreements and disagreements because we're going to deal with the matter in the High Court.
Thank you. Mr. Mafe, what I'm going to do now is I'm going to pose to you certain allegations that will be made later in this matter. Okay? Do you hear me?
Uthi ke ngoku into enzakuyenza ke ngokukhosa ke izinto etyabekwa ngazo nazo othi ke zisebenze naxa kuqoqwa ityala. So just take the kuqoqwa ityala.
And as you've done now, you're quite welcome not to comment, and you can indicate so, but you need to, out of fairness to you, and giving you a reasonable opportunity to adduce the evidence in court to show exceptional circumstances, I'm going to put them to you so you can be allowed to comment. Can I break that up?
Uthi ke nalapho ke lilungelo lakho into bangaba ke ungangaziphenduli kwezo nto ndizotsho ndisiphose kuyo ukuwe kodwa ke nalapho ke unikwa ke ithuba lokuthi ke uziphendulele ngokungqina ukuyabekwa ngoko. Uyandiva ke ngoku? Yes, I hear.
Yeah. You were arrested at Parliament, and you was Zandile Christmas Mafe.
Uthe uyawabanjwa ke phaa eParlamente igama lakho nguChristmas Zandile Mafe.
And as common causes, you reside at Q321 Site B, Khayelitsha.
Abayiphikiseki into yoba ngaba ke uhlala phaa ka-Q321 esayidi eKhayelitsha kunjani?
khona kaloku iyaziwa into ingathi address yamo already habo ngoko akusekho nto safuneka ndiphephe kudala iphila lo Q321.
It's already known that is my address, and it's been repeatedly said about this Q321 and that also I'm from African.
Okay, great. Then you're not homeless, is that correct? You have a house, you reside at the place?
Lonto ithetha ukuthi awungumntu ke ongenandawo yohlala unayo indawo yohlala kwi-address.
Nyani ngoba ndinefriji phathi bandishilo into i-DSTV ikhutshwa njena yiloo nto
That is true, as that I also mentioned that the fridges and DSTVs they only go out 10 yapuma I only go out when I go to look for something to eat.
So, sorry, I used the incorrect term earlier. You're not an unhoused person.
Sorry?
It's the term for a homeless person. It's an unhoused person.
Okay.
Apologies,
Mhlawumbe mandibe
using the
ngohlobo
incorrect term.
awungomuntu ongenandlu. Ndingatsho ke awungomuntu ongenandlu. Ndingayibeka njalo?
Kaloku njengoba ndikuyo sithi ngerenta njengaka kaloku ifuneka ibhatele ngempela nyanga ndake niyanzelise uba ndingena naphela inyanga ibe ndilungiselele le nto.
As I've said that I'm renting the place, so the rent must be paid end month. So I'm forced now to pay my landlord.
So, any statement saying that you are a homeless person is incorrect.
Lilonke ke kwingxela ke bibekwa kanifunda ligqwetha lakho apho esithi awunandawo yohlala. So lilonke ayikho njalo.
No, I'm sorry, Rashid. The translation of that question is not, it's now attributed to me. Mr.
I definitely will not attribute that to Mr.
He
Mr.
certainly
Mark, who certainly not
did. So my learned friend is innocent, but thank you.
Any statement which says that you are a homeless person, I'm not saying it's made by anybody, any statement of that nature is not correct.
Hii statement kayinephi na ingxelo ethi into bangaba wena awunondawo yohlala ayukanjalo. Asitsho mhlawumbe nguyo tshoyo naphi na ingxelo ethi awunandawo yohlala ayikho njalo. Ngaba uthi
ndingathi into ephindwa kwaninji into ephindwa kaninji lena.
it seems that we are repeating the same thing.
It's not true. I'm not repeating the same thing.
Uthi ayikho njalo, uthi akaphindi ntweni.
Kungenzeka ibe bazingxelo ngoba apha ekuhlaleni iyaziwa indawo yam endani nathi noba noba nje batana ngoku wonke umntu seyazi adresi yam okanye loo mdla ngesiqu sayo ibonile nantsika ngamehlo nantsika
Everyone knows my address and they even physically saw my address. Bayibonile indlu yakho, bayibona ngesiqu. Yes. They even took photos. Yes.
Into enjalo ke akudingeki uba mane ndiphendula
Something like that, I don't need to answer all the time or comment about it.
Okay. No, that's good. Somebody took photos of your address?
Uthi ke kumbe wafoda ke i-address yakho le ndawo uhlala
ndibonisiwe mna ndisekhonzo ngomnye we-officials phaya ekhonzo nantsika.
By that I was shown by one of the officials there in Portsmouth.
Oh, that somebody took photos of your address.
Into bangaba kumuntu ofode la ndawo i-address yakho. Yes, he showed me from this
pointing at the bishop.
Okay, so, sir, on the date of your arrest, Colonel Tron accompanied Warrant Officer Velani to Cape Town Police Station where you were interviewed.
Where you went?
I'm sorry, Bishop. Really, I've never seen anything like this. If my learned friend, is he giving evidence or is he going to call the witness that he's talking about? He must lay a basis. He can't just tell us a story.
I agree with my learned counsel. Your Worship, I propose the following. I have an affidavit that I would have presented to the defense at some point. These allegations I'm going to put into the accused are flowing from the affidavit, and perhaps then the mystery is clearer. Mr. Mafe, Warrant Officer Vilani, and Colonel Tron, according to what Colonel Tron will later testify, or if the affidavit, when the affidavit is later tendered to court, will testify that he and Warrant Officer Vilani met you at the Cape Town Cape Town Police Station, where he conducted an interview with you, he and Vilani.
Mr. Velani ke no Mr. Tony ke bathi ke into banga ke bayebepha ke police station pha eKapa ngabo ke bobabini abantu abaye banozwana ndlebe nawe.
Do you wish to comment?
Uyafuna ukuphendula bani?
Aphendulile ke kwakwarotation ezwe izinto ezifana nale.
No, I can't answer. I was not supposed to answer things like that because those are like merits of the case.
Mr. Mafe, just to make, I'm not suggesting an answer for you, but if you're not choosing to comment and you wish to comment only when the matter goes to trial, you can just indicate no comment. But I am obliged to pose these things to you, understand?
Okay, understand.
After Colonel Tron introduced himself to you, you started referring to him as Obas Tron. Is that correct?
My lord, Your Worship, basic rules of evidence. This, I've just tried to assist my learned friend. If he's going to lead a witness or he wants a particular affidavit which must be admitted into evidence and someone is going to confirm it, then he will be free to do whatever he wants. He cannot ask questions based on a document that is not before the court, not before the witness, and which has just been handed to me 2 minutes ago. Really.
Bishop, of course, these are bail proceedings. The ordinary rules of evidence are not applicable, as Mr. Mpofu has argued in other forums. Bishop, I'm merely posing allegations from here. The purpose of which is to gain comment from the accused or not. It appears he's not going to be commenting on the merits. I see no prejudice in posing these allegations. They will be made properly during the state's case and handed in to court. I have, of course, no objection if the court is allowed to look at a copy with the understanding that a proper basis for its admission will be laid during the state's case on bail. I don't know if that will satisfy Leonard Counsel. This court pleases.
Yes, it will, Your Worship. If the questions are being put provisionally on the basis that the statement will be properly authenticated and proven, but it can't just be put as it was done.
I think there was an indication to that effect. There was an indication by Applicant Maniga to that effect. There was an indication by Applicant Maniga to that effect, and it was on that basis that it was allowed.
Okay, I didn't hear it.
I intend to lay the basis when it's my turn. I don't want to be out of turn in this matter. However, if the defense is insisting that the application or the bail affidavit be placed before the court at this stage, I can accede to that request.
Your Worship, I've just said he can put questions on the provisional basis, which is something he said just now. He never said it before, which he said now, and I said I'm happy with that explanation.
As the court pleases, I will then proceed on that basis. As the court pleases. Warrant officer, according to Tron, whose affidavit will come later, he says that he and Warrant Officer Delani interviewed you at the Cape Town police station.
Mr. Trump and Mr. Belani, whether to Cape Town police station,
That question was posed.
Yes, I didn't. Did I get the answer? I know there was an objection.
Can't comment.
Can't comment.
That's a letter.
That's okay. After Tron introduced himself to you, you started calling him Obastro.
a city ke ngaba webeni bonke Mr. Tron ezazisile kuwe wena ke ngoba waqala isikole lapho uqalise khona kumbiza ngo-Obas. No comment.
And according to Ron, you appeared fluent in Afrikaans.
Esithi ke uMr. Tron wena kuvakala njengomuntu okwaziyo kahle ukuthetha i-Afrikaans. Ukuthetha kahle i-Afrikaans.
Ngiyafana njengana uyazi uba besendixelile okukhuluma Afrikaans ukwenzazi kodwa ngoba uvile ngabantu ingalazi kodwa
I did mention that in my evidence that I understand that language and you even heard that. So for you now to tell me that somebody else is telling you that I understood the language, I'm not gonna answer it.
Okay. According to Ron, you interacted with him and you switched between English and Afrikaans quite easily.
Esithi ke kangena ngaki ke ukuthi ke nivane ngexesha ke nithethayo nomabili kabe kukamathuba ke utshintshe ulwimi nithethe i-English. Must I respond?
You can say no comment if you want to. If you want to respond, you're also welcome to do so.
Ungatsho bakhona uzayiphendula okanye ukuthi andiziphendula nkelekile kanjalo. No response.
Colonel Tron then will go on to say that he warned you of your constitutional rights.
Uthi ke uMr. Tron into bangaba ke waye ke wakuqelela kanye wakuyala ngamalungelo akho ngokomgaqo-siseko.
According to him, your right to remain silent and your right to legal representation was explained to you. He advised you that if you wanted to, if you could not afford a lawyer, the state would provide you at the state's expense.
Esithi ke kwamalungelo akho kuyachazele wona ke utshilo unalo ilungelo ba ungabe kungabikho nto uthethayo kuye ne malunga ke njengothetha naye malunga ngosimangalo esityabe ngaso nokuthi ke ungafuna ke negqwetha ba unayo imali ofuna ke igqwetha ke ungenza isicelo ngalamagqwetha ngahlawulwayo.
Any comment?
Utshilo uMr. Tron kuye. Cesar, I'm not going to respond to everyone. No response in the way you are posing the questions to me. I won't have an answer.
So you've got no comment?
So I will not be. No.
Colonel Tron then told you he's a colonel in the South African Police Services and that should anything you say to him amount of confession, it could be used against you in court.
Mr. Tron chazile ke into ngabanye abantu aphezulu baphetheyo bamapolisa aMzantsi Afrika nokuthi ke into onothi ithethe okanye ke uyivume into enothi isetyenziswe ekudala uthi uxelele. I said that I'm not going to comment on that.
Okay.
I'm waiting for that in the High Court.
So no comment. According to Tron, you said you did not want a lawyer. You understood your rights in this regard. And he also, according to him, you said you want to explain what happened.
Bake esithi uMr Trono na uthe into yokubanga bake awufuni kwetha ne ufuna nje ukuchaza into yokubanga ba kwenzeke ntoni na. No response.
Colonel,
Comment.
no comment.
Okay.
Colonel Tron then says he can. You see, Mr.
I'm sorry, Worship. I really apologize to my learned friend. I just don't want to interrupt him. I let him carry on. I just wanted to indicate that it's up to him. He can carry on if he wants. But the witness said that on these issues he will not comment on any of the issues, and he used the word which was not translated ezizayo, which means anything that is coming in this line, I will not comment. So it's up to him. He can ask whatever he wants, but that was the response.
That was the understanding.
Thank you.
Bishop, I'm going to continue.
You may proceed.
I'm going to continue. According to Tron, he conducted the interview in English with you in the reception area of Cape Town Central Police Station.
Esithi Mr Trono ke uyona ndlela nawe ke phaya kulanda ukubungu na phaya police station, phaya reception police station.
The cell area.
No comment.
And it was in full view of other uniformed members of the South African Police Force.
Uthola ndobandle lenzeke kukho amanye amapolisa ebona ebukele enqabeni. No comment.
Colonel Tron will then also say that while conducting the interview, you appeared calm, at ease, and you showed no aggression towards him or Warrant Officer Villani.
Esithi ke uMr Trono ngoba ngeke xesha lethithe nabo upholile xa ubonakalisa njengomuntu onomsilo uyo wonke lo thuba into noMr Villani esithi. No comment.
Then, according to Ron, you said you voluntarily told him that you were responsible for setting Parliament alight.
Baba esithi ke Mr Trono wena utsho ngokunokwakho into yokubanga bake nguwe ke umuntu otshise iParliament. No comment.
And you continued talking, and you told him 3 reasons why you set the Parliament alight.
Uthi ke uye waqhubekeka ke uthethe ke wamnika ke izathu ezintathu bakutheni le nto utshise iParliament.
Bishop, I see my colleague rises again.
Worship, I'm saying this probably for the last time. To put these matters can only be intended to prejudice the accused person. He has explained that he will not deal with the merits. In the affidavit that is being quoted, the heading under which all these questions come is headed merits by them. So there can be no reason. The only thing that is happening now is that my learned friend is giving evidence, which is worthless, because until the evidence, if it's given by the witness or any other witness, that's fine. But if it's given by him, it's not admissible. It's just sensationalizing the case, knowing that it will prejudice the accused, particularly in a case of this nature, which is in the public eye. That's all I want to say.
The court has already ruled on this. The prosecutor will allow to put the statements. The applicant is entitled to refuse to answer. If it is in any event going to be placed before court in affidavit form, I can see no prejudice.
Which is in fact the state's job to prejudice the accused.
I'm glad to hear that. It's the first time I hear that. That's exactly the problem with how the state is conducting itself.
Exactly.
Thank you. If they see their job as to prejudice the accused person, then they are not living in a constitutional state like ours. Thank you.
Yes, Your Worship. To pose allegations in a charge, Your Worship. We'll discuss that further probably in argument. The applicant continued talking, and you said that you burned Parliament for the following reasons.
Uthethe waqhubekeka ke wathetha usithi ke izathu zakho zoba ukhisi iParliamente ungonayo kuba
that you wanted President Ramaphosa to resign with immediate effect.
usoqala sokuba ufuna ke upresident uMr Ramaphosa ashiye indawo kanye aresign.
I'll finish the list. You demanded the release of Janos Wallus.
Ngoba ke ufuna ukunyazisa into yokuba ngabo Mr Janos Wallus makakhululwe.
Because according to you, Mr. Mafe did not, because you, Mr. Wallus did not kill Chris Hani, but you instead blamed President Ramaphosa for the murder of Chris Hani.
Usithi ke wena into yokuba ngaba ke uMr Janos Wallus zange abulale uChris Hani, umntu obulale uChris Hani nguPresident Ramaphosa.
Thank you, Your Worship. I hope Your Worship will be patient with me. I'm just doing this for the record. I want to point out once again, and unfortunately it's my job to do so, but we're now even staying into another terrain of Section 217, where we're being told about an alleged confession, or Section 220 if it's admissions, which have not, whose admissibility have not been established in a trial, within a trial, as we know, and the only purpose of doing this can be to prejudice an accused who has indicated that he does not wish to deal with the merits. That's all. Just placing it on the record.
Your objection and your concern is not.
Thank you.
Thank you. Watch wants me to record a workout. Your Worship, unfortunately, I can't do that now. Your Worship, my learned colleague has raised the objection over and over again, and you ruled on this aspect. I will ask, I've been patient to this point, but I will ask that if he continues with the same objection, it can only be seen to frustrate the cross-examination of the state. Mr. Court, please.
Your Worship, I take great exception to that. I've just raised a new point. I've never mentioned Section 217 and Section 220 before. I don't know what my learned friend is talking about, or which court he has been in. I've raised a new objection and framed it particularly in a particularly calculated manner to refer to those sections for the first time.
Please, Your Worship, I will address this particular objection in argument. State versus Mapula. I will be quoting, as well as Mashlango, on this particular aspect of questions of admissibility or not, and whether they are relevant and bail applications. But I will address the court fully on that in my heads of argument. But at this stage, can I please be allowed to proceed with my cross-examination? You blamed President Ramaphosa for the murder of Chris Hani.
Usithi Mr Ramaphosa, President Ramaphosa umntu wayewabulala uChris Hani.
I suppose it's no comment.
Yatsho kakhona iphendula, yes, no comment.
And your last demand was that 1,500 rand grant be granted to all people who do not have a job.
Usigunyazisa into yokuba ngaba ke kubekho igranti ye-1,500 ezothi inikezwe kubantu abangaphangeliyo. No comment.
It's very similar to what you testified earlier. Do you agree with me?
Kodwa ke le nto endigqibelitha ziyafana nento
But you spoke about yourself.
ngaphambili apho umntu ethetha ngawe. No comment now at the moment.
And then you told Colonel Tron that you set Parliament alight so that there could be no State of the Nation address during 2022, or as you later called it, the State of the Nonsense address.
Nonsense?
State of the Nonsense address. You referred to it as that.
Usithi ke wena ke uthembe wena mama utshise ke eParliament bungafuni ngabekhona la njalo le nation sorry, please repeat the word.
Okay, the first portion is that he wanted there should be no State of the Nation address in 2022.
Okay, awufuni into yoba ngaba bekhona ke la ndibano kuthiwa State of Nation address kunyaka ka-2022.
And you refer to it instead as the state of the nonsense address.
Baba uchaze ngokuthi lesi state of nonsense indlela wena ucakile ngayo.
So if you say no comment, then I can proceed.
Buthi nokho ba uthi ke khomza iphendula zaqhubekela. No comment.
Then while you were seated there with Tron and Delani, a uniformed member of SABC approached you and showed you a video clip of the parliament burning.
Uthi ngaqasha ke unihleli ke no Mr. Tron no Mr. Delane ke wafika ke bonisa ke la kubonisa ke ivideo yo apho ilo video ibonisa ukutsha kweparlament. Kanye iparlament isitsha. No response.
According to Ron, in his presence, you slapped on your chest and said you were very pleased with yourself, and you said to him, yes, that was Christmas, referring to your middle name.
Kaba usithi ke Mr. John wena ke njengoba uye wabona ke la video ude wazibethatha esifubeni ke wathi uvaka mani Christmas lo.
Or am I Bin Laden now, was the words that you said.
Kanye ke awazi lo magama lethethiwe. No comment on that.
Tron says he left you with Warrant Officer Velani, and we proceeded to take down your warning statement at the police station.
Uthi lo Mr. John ke wayewakushiya ke no Mr. Delani Mr. Delani ke waqhubekeka ke ekunika ke i-warning statement yakhe. No comment.
And then Velani phoned Tron, but you won't know about this, so I'm not going to put it to you. But Tron came to the police station, back to the police station.
Esithi ke Mr. Delani, esithi ke Mr. Delani wayamfonela kulapho ke Mr. Tron waye wabuya.
When Tron came back to the police station, he asked you if you were prepared to show how you gained entry to Parliament and where you had bought the petrol that you used to set Parliament alight.
Ngaba Mr. Tron ke uthe ubuyeni kwakhe ke wabuza ke ngaba ke ulungele na kumchazela abanye ukuthi ke wenze njani ukuthi ke ungene ke eParliament nokuthi ke uthenge ungene eParliament nale petrol.
He said before he asked you that, you had earlier told him that you bought 10 rands of petrol from a garage in Belleville, which you poured into a Coke bottle.
Esithi ke phambi koko ke ngokuba ke ukuzwe lonto ubusomchazele ngaphambili into ngaba wena wathi waye wathenga ke ipetrol nge-10 rand wagalela ke iyephoko pha egarage eBelleville. No comment.
You then agreed to go and show the police where you bought the petrol and where you entered the Parliament.
Baba wavuma ke wena into bangaba uzawabonisa amapolisa apho uthenge khona ipetroli nokuthi ungene ndawoni njani ondawoni pha eParliament.
And then it is
No comment.
And then it is that Colonel Tron then arranged for a Lieutenant Colonel Kahi from Kraaifontein SABC to be appointed as the officer to assist you with the appointing.
So ba ke kulapho ke Mr. Tron ke wafuna Mr. Mose Kraaifontein ukuthi ke ibe nguye lo ozoncedisa apho ke wena uzothuwane uyokhomba ezindawo.
Before you went for the pointing out, you were taken to Dr. Van Tonder at Karl Bremner Hospital. Do you agree?
Ngaba phambi ke uyowenza ke lo khombo ke waye wasiwa ke kuDr. Van Tonder ayaswabha Dr. Van Tonder phambi ayokwenza lo khombo. No comment.
And it is there that she examined you for any signs of physical injury.
Apho ke lo gqirha ke waye wakuhlola ke ufuna ujonga into mangaba mhlawumbi ukhona umonzakalo onawo uwe emzimbeni.
Did she examine you for physical injuries? Or do you not wish to comment?
Waye wakujonga apha emzimbeni ujonga unamonzakalo onawo emzimbeni wakho waye wakuhlola ugqirha. No comment.
And it is there that we get a report from her as well that you were not of sound mind.
Ba kulapho ke ngokuba wayenza ke laa ngxelo ke abechaza into bangaba ke awuphilanga ngokuzingqondweni.
You've got your evidence, you're totally sane. Is that right?
wena ngomntwana bakho ke uthi ke awunanani ngosengqondweni uphile gqothi. No comment.
You were not prepared to comment on that, but you were prepared to comment earlier. Is there a reason why you've changed now?
Awufuna uphendula kuloo nto kodwa bangaba ke urayithi ngosengqondweni kodwa ngaphambi ngokuthetha eqaleni ngishilo into ngaba iyo waphendula kuloo nto.
If there's no reason, you can say there's no reason.
And you're
In fairness to the applicant, in fairness to the applicant, what the bit was put in one go, and you're referring to a specific portion of that that we indicated earlier.
Yes, I will probably direct the question a bit better. My first question to you was, are you of sound mind, and is there nothing wrong with you besides your speech impediment? And you said, no, there's nothing wrong with it.
Uthi kaloku khumbula ke ndikhe ndabuza ke imibuzo into yokuba ngaba uphile kakuhle na ngokusengqondweni akho ngxaki nakuwe ngaphandle nje uba ke uthi uyakhumbula wathi nakho ngxaki
You remember that evidence, the very first question I asked you?
uthi ube ngumbuzo wakhe wokuqala usakhumbula kwamna. Those are the things that are following in time. At the moment, no comment.
I'll move on. Now, after you did the pointing out, it was captured on video, and according to Colonel Tron, in his case docket, there's a record of that pointing out.
Kuthiwa-ke kulolwaziwa ke ividiyo ngela xesha wena usenza ikhomo baba loo nto aziphayi ngokuthi.
And that will be disclosed to the court as part of this affidavit.
Abanayo ke into ezawuthi ichaze ke nanjengephedinasa nendaba kaMr Tron.
According to Tron, on page 15 of your pointing out, you pointed out a certain garage in Belleville.
Sorry, Worship. I don't want to again apologize to my learned friend, just for the record that the objection that related to confessions or so-called admissions also relates to any alleged pointing out which should not be put at this stage. Just for the record.
Your Worship, I've just asked the court to cross-reference paragraph 21 on page 18 of the bundle of the applicant, where this particular pointing out is in fact placed in issue already at paragraph 21. But of course the applicant has chosen not to comment, so we don't know what his view was, whether this pointing out was voluntarily or not done. So we don't have a version or any sort of version of the applicant on this regard. Unless a version is posed at any point, I will argue later for the acceptance of the state's version as court uses. There's authority for that point, and I'll argue that later. But once again, the objection is noted. Unfortunately, I will continue to put the allegations of Colonel Tron to this witness. The court uses. On page 16, on page 15, you pointed out, according to Tron, you pointed out a garage in Belleville. I'm not going to name this specific garage is named here, but I'm not going to name it. In Belleville, as a place where you bought 10 rands worth of petrol.
Apho ke Mr. Tron kaphethe nachaza into mangaba waye wakhomba ke igaraji akazibiza ke igama legaraji igaraji phaya apho ke wena uchaza into mangaba wathenga phaya petrol e-10 rand.
Okay. On page 16, of that pointing out, according to Theron, it's you pointed out where you entered Parliament.
Where you?
Entered the Parliament.
Esithi ka page 16 nje uye wakhomba ke umsethona apho onye apho indawo ongene kulo pha eParliament.
On page 17, it appears to be as you pointed out a second gate and window which you used to enter Parliament.
Babonakala ke waphinda ke wakhomba ke igate yesibini kunye ne-first year ongene ngayo pha eParliament.
Is there no comment?
Usatsho awuphanambili. Still so, no comment.
After the pointing out, sir, you agreed with Colonel Theron that you would like to make a confession as to how you set Parliament alight.
Uthe ngoba ke wenzile ke lukhombo ke waye ke wathi wena kuMr Theron ufuna ke uvuma uchaze izinto ezivumayo ngokwenzekileyo.
Where Lieutenant Colonel Spannenberg of the Provincial Detectives was arranged to take the pointing out.
Bakwenza amalungiselelo ke
Sorry, your
okanye
confession.
Spannenberg into bangaba ibe nguye ke ozakwenza ke oluvumo tyala.
And this confession was also recorded on video.
Ke noluvumo ke laye lenziwa ke laye la no comment.
According to Theron, he summarized what is contained in your confession as follows.
Ke uMr Theron ke uye wasummarize ke into ephakathi la kolavumo tyala lapho.
And the full confession will be attached to Colonel Theron's statement, so you can have a good look at it later.
Izawudityaniswa ke
Although you've seen it, I've seen it.
izawubonisa ke ethubeni.
In general, you complained about the living conditions and your lack of food and resources, much like you did in court today.
Ke into ethethileyo ke phana ke kungabi nakutya neemeko zakho najengoba kusochazela ke kuthi.
On page 11, you then stated that it was the right thing to put the Parliament on fire because at the moment it does not help the people of South Africa.
Uthi wathi wena into yokuba ngaba into erayithi into elungileyo into yokuba ngaba uyitshise ipalamente kuba kaloku ipalamente ayibancedi abantu abemi boMzantsi Afrika.
According to you, as previously, and according to you, the people in charge don't care because it belongs to tycoons that enrich themselves.
Usithi ke wena into yokuba abantu abasemagunyeni abakhathali ke ngabantu abaphila ke ubumiyuniyo abahlala ke kwizaa ndawo eziphezulu.
Any comment?
No comment.
Page 12, he once again demanded that President Ramaphosa must resign by the 8th of January 2022.
Ke wenze ke wena isiqoqothiso soba ngaba uMr Ramaphosa ke kufuneka resignile pha nge-8 January lonyaka ka-2022.
That unemployed people must get a basic grant of 1,500 with immediate effect.
Usithi ke abantu abangaphangeliyo kumele bafumane igranti ye-1,500 kwangoko.
And Janus Wallus must be released unconditionally on the 11th of February, the release date of Nelson Mandela, according to you.
Ngaba usithi ke uJanuary kufuneka akhululwe ke ngelanga zikaFebruary ngedate ke uMandela wakhululwa ngayo ngokutsho kwakho.
Not according to what you said to Theron, but what you testified earlier.
Ke into obuyithethile wena apha enkundleni leyo.
Comment? No comment?
No comment.
So you have to say no comment so that it is recorded that you did not wish to comment. You understand?
Ufuna ukuva usitsho kwenzela uba izorekhodisha iphantsi. No comment.
On page 14, you stated that he meant that it was your mission to destroy Parliament so that it could not be used by dictator Ramaphosa and his cabinet of criminals.
And this?
Cabinet of criminals.
Okay. Uthe into yoba ngaba ke izidingo zakho ke into yoba ngaba mawuyitshise ke laa palamente kuba kaloku laa palamente ke ilawulwa ke nguRamaphosa kunye neqembu lakhe ayo ngabantu abenza ulwaphulomthetho.
Now, sir, later in these proceedings, the state's intention is to play certain video footage.
Esithi ke umtshutshisi ke kwesi sicelo ke senzayo ke siyafuna ke into yoba ngaba sibonise ke i-video footage.
Your defense advocate has indicated that he will probably raise an objection. The grounds have not been disclosed to the state yet.
But batala bolitheke baphela kwethuba ke ngenza ke impikisho lento mangaba cause lethu izathu bakuthene nto funeke iboniswe le video footage.
But what Tron will come and tell the school, or in his affidavit will tell the school, is that a Captain Greenie of the Hawks downloaded footage at Parliament.
But the city of Mr. Tron back is like whenever the was a woman, I get that everybody later on, but then in his house, I guess, or never remember if one I gave you the footage at Parliament.
And from that footage, this Captain Greenie was able to take out some still photos for us.
About Mr. Nigero, the graphic footage was in the Mahaba. I put a Amafort, okay, with Amafort on the way.
Also, again, evidence 101. If my learned friend is going to call a particular colonel, whatever his name is, we must lay the basis. Alternatively, if the basis of this question now is that Colonel Tarrant is going to say what Mr. Negrini said, that's classical hearsay, but my learned friend is free to carry on and on.
Thank you, Worship. Of course, as Mr. Mpofu knows, bail application, the hearsay is in play. The normal rules of evidence do not apply in these sui generis proceedings, and hearsay can be led even by way of affidavit. I do not expect this objection on the basis of hearsay in a bail application, but there is ample authority that deals with this. Hartleaf's case, for example, many other cases. I see Advocate Mpofu rises again.
Yes, again, for the record, my learned friend can be sure that I know the law regarding to bail. My objection goes to the obvious prejudice of putting these questions, especially on such a tenuous basis, and when there is no indication as to whether it's actually getting worse and worse. Firstly, it was somebody is going to say in an affidavit, then that somebody is going to say that somebody else is going to say in the affidavit. And I'll leave it at that. If the previous ruling stands, or rule on the objection, or whatever, I just have to put it on the record. Thank you.
Certainly, your objection is noted. Previous ruling stands. You may proceed.
Thank you.
Mr. Court, please. Now, sir, it's not hearsay. There are photographs here of video footage which Captain Greenie has prepared.
I want to alone and now I'm a photo Patrick Live video.
Now, these photos are also form part of the affidavit, and I'm sure at appropriate time Advocate Mpofu will show you those photographs.
Okay, la as a photo, there's a photo there is in my location of the Lumtubi, our little baby girl, and Mpofu's a bonisa, the camera about a bonisa on her photo.
But for the sake of court time, there's a summary here by Colonel Tron of what he appears in those photographs.
What I'm getting I shot is a stronger tell of the Madonna, and the Mr. Tron Madonna.
Photo 1 to 5.
Thank you, Worship. For the record, we object to the releasing of any photos. The accused has never in his life seen these photos being presented in the format of this affidavit, which was handed to me, which I also have not even read properly, because it was handed to me during cross-examination. And it is prejudicial to the accused to be questioned in such evidence. And we don't know who took the photos, we don't know if there's an affidavit from that person. Let's copy it.
Just something just crossed my mind. This has been raised as objection to being led on the merits. However, the accused is not commenting on the merits. How can this possibly be prejudiced? I don't know where the prejudice is coming from. This guy is saying no comment. I mean, not this guy, sorry. Mr. Mafe is saying no comment. And I'm proposing allegations to him. Don't understand the prejudice. If you may rule on that.
Thank you. Thank you, Worship. I'll assist my learned friend. The prejudice is very simple to discern for any human being. This matter, as your worship explained, is a matter of high national importance, maybe of international importance. It is a matter that concerns, as the applicant has said, very serious charges. To give evidence by a prosecutor, which is what is happening now, for sensational reasons, and to place into the public sphere and influence the public sphere with information that has not been authenticated, whose admissibility is in question. According to him, according to my learned friend, the basis of what the applicant has said is that these statements were taken out of him, not forcefully as such, but with deception and bribery and the promise of his freedom, which he says were not met. That is according to the prosecution itself. For that same prosecution, when the admissibility of and the voluntariness of those statements was made, comes from them to lead them here, can serve no purpose, because no other purpose rather than to prejudice and poison the atmosphere. We object on that basis, in case my learned friend does not understand. But as you say, we just to assist him and also to assist the record. That's the basis of the objection.
Thank you. As the applicant has indicated, the court is not tasked with deciding guilt or innocence, it's tasked with the application for bail. As such, I already ruled that statements regarding the strength of the state case, which is one of the factors that the court must take into account, or can take into account, may be put to the applicant for his comment, but I will allow the trustee to continue.
As the court pleases. Now, Mr. Mafe, I think just the long and short of these photographs. These allegations will form, detailed allegations will form part of the record at a later stage. But just for way of summary, the conclusion here is that you were arrested as you exited Parliament. And there's a photograph showing you exiting through the window and some policemen just descending on you. And at that point, when the police arrested you, they found you in possession of cutlery, a kettle, toaster, stationery and shoes, allegedly. Comment? Don't?
No.
And what the still photographs also show is that person wearing exactly the same clothes, or let's not exactly this, let's say clothes that look exactly like those that you were arrested in. He's seen going through Parliament starting the fire. It shows you, well not you, the person wearing the clothes that you were arrested in, placing paper and boxes under the doors of offices in Parliament. It shows you walking around with a petrol in a Coke bottle. I confuse myself, but that will be depicted in the video footage that we will show.
naleyo ke into ezawuthi ivele ke naphakathi i-video footage ezawuthi ibonise.
It will show how this person wearing the same clothes that you had on, that you were arrested in, throws papers down into the National Assembly and boxes.
Apho ke loo nto ezawubonisa ke elahla ke amaphepha ke phakandalo ke yebhunga,
And with a little bit of petrol for good measure,
indlu yebhunga, nalapho loo nto igalela ke nepetrol.
and shows this person wearing exactly the same clothes as you, whose face is quite close on some of the footage, by the way.
Kawuba lo mntu ke enxibe le mpahla ime ke bubanjwe unxibe yona, nalapho ke ubuso buyabonakala ke busondele apha ke kwi-video footage.
Lighting a piece of newspaper and dropping it into the National Assembly.
Kawuba ke lo mntu ke basa iphephandaba, ne, ejula ke kulaa ndlu yebhunga.
Oh, I forget, in front of the offices you also piled some office chairs. Oh, the person dressed as you were when you were arrested piled office chairs in front of the various offices.
Kawuba ke lo mntu ke bebanjiwe enxibe ezi mpahla zifana kunye nazo uboniwe ethatha izitulo ke ezibeka phambi kweminyango yezaofisi.
And not captured in the still footage, there's on the video footage, the person dressed exactly the way you were arrested tears curtains of the National Assembly to be used as kindling for the fire.
Kawuba ke lo mntu ke bonakala bebanjiwe enxibe ezi mpahla ubonakala ke kulaa video footage ethatha ke ezaa curtains zafana itsala ezisebenzisa ke ukuembelela lo mlilo.
Comment? None?
Ufuna uphendula? No comment.
There's even occasions where this person helps himself to corporate wear of Parliament, a pea cap and a jacket.
Kawuba bonakala ke lo mntu ke nakuloo video footage ebonisa uba ufuna uthatha ke ezi mpahla ke zapha epalamente kunye nejacket.
Comment?
Ufuna uphendula? No.
Now, just a question on this page 18 of your bundle once again.
Sibukela ke page 18 yengxelo yakho.
Now, Colonel Tron will come and dispute what you say on page 18 of your bundle.
Apho Mr. Tron ke uzayiphikisa ke le nto ke wena uyithethileyo phaa ku-page 18.
He will say that pictures 36 and 30 to 37 of the still footage will show how you exited Parliament and were arrested outside the window of Parliament.
Apho ke ibonisa ke picture 36 and picture 37 ibonisa ke ngelaa xesha ke wena uphumayo phaa epalamente wade wabana.
So this thing of you being arrested while sleeping outside in the precinct, according to Colonel Tron, that's not correct.
Le nto yona ithetha into yoba ngaba uye wabanjwa ke aphaa ngaphandle ngaphandle nasepalamente ayikho njani.
Then you said in sorry, comment, no comment?
Ufuna uphendula? No comment.
Paragraph 19 of that affidavit, you mentioned that you were assaulted by police officials and manhandled. Colonel Tron will dispute that.
Ngoba ke ndithethayo phaa page 9 into yoba ngaba uphetheka kwabantu ababethana ngamapolisa ke uMr. Tron uyayiphikisa loo nto.
He will say that according to the video footage of the pointing out, according to the video footage of the confession, or the alleged confession, there was no such thing as you being assaulted.
Kawuba esithi ke uba uzaziyiphikisa loo nto kawuba ke nangelaa xesha ke wenza amakhombo ngezi ndawo nalapho ke wenza ke ubumutyala akho ndawo phana kwaye mhlawumbe ubekho ithuba kubuye wabetha.
According to the medical report filed in his docket, there is no indication that you had any injuries on your body. According to Dr. Van Tonder, the same doctor that said those things about you.
Kawuba ke kwagqirha umnye ke betholile kuqala umsefatondela akho ngqelo into yoba ngelaa xesha abonayo ke ufumanisa into yoba ngaba ubunomanzakala apha emzimbeni wakhe akho into ebonakalayo into yoba ngaba waye wabetha. No comment.
And the reason why you accused in paragraph 20 of your affidavit is not the police sucking out of their thumb, it's because of the evidence against you.
Kawuba ke into bayichazayo kayonto nje bayithe emoyeni lena ukuthi bungqina bukhoyo.
And at the close of these proceedings, the state will argue that you have a strong case against you. Do you have any comment about that?
besithi icala zotshitshiso ke unamathileka ngamandla kwelityala ngabakhona afuna iphendula kuloo nto. Not at the moment. Yeah.
So this is the opportunity. This is your reasonable opportunity to dispute what the state is going to allege. Use your opportunity or don't, but that's up to you.
Do
you wish to comment?
Not yet.
So in that same affidavit, at paragraph 38 of your affidavit, you allege that the most bizarre feature of my arrest is the inability of the state to explain why I would have remained in the vicinity after committing the alleged crime. But according to Tron, the behavior that day is not this bizarre on the part of the state. No bizarre. According to Tron, your behavior was bizarre. That the state will allege that you endangered your own life when you set Parliament alight. And you endangered the lives of people that had to go put that fire out. Any comment?
Yeah, no comment.
Now, sir, the state is going to object to your release on bail. The state is going to say that you will endanger the safety of the public or any particular person or commit a Schedule 1 offence if you are released on bail. Do you wish to comment on that general statement, and then there are further things that you may want to or not comment?
Not now.
Okay, I must maybe tell you I'm not dealing with the merits of this case anymore. I'm dealing with allegations by Colonel Tron as to why you should not be given bail. You still no longer want to comment on why Tron is saying you should not be granted bail?
No, they will comment on that.
Now, sir, the personal circumstances that you've described to us, your DSTV and these sort of things, perhaps better than a lot of people in this country. You agree?
What?
It's better than a lot of people in this country. Millions of people.
No, I'm not going to answer, not at the moment.
So no comment on that either.
Not, no comment.
Remember, this is not the merits, this is about bail, eh? You're giving an opportunity to comment.
ukuphendula kokukhula ngedeni
leyo mhlawumbe lokho andikwazi ayinampendulo kuyo mhlawumbe.
Maybe I don't have an answer on that now.
You got it. So, in terms of your personal circumstances, what is unusual about what you told the court? Is it the DSTV or is it the fridge? I'm not too certain what is unusual about your personal circumstances that was alluded to by your counsel.
Futhi ke malunga ke ngemeko kunale nkundla ke izidonge ukuze ukhululeke ingaba yintoni lecaba yinto ebalulekileyo endingaqhelekanga ngaphandle igqwetha lakhe lathitha nge-TV nange-DSTV nto le ingako ebalulekileyo.
Sengisaziwa nami khona ndiyaziwa mabe indaba yokukhulula ngayo inanzika uzohlala kule ndawo yale ndihlala kuyo phela into kudidalisayo ukuthi uza ngento yokuthi into indaba yakuthi yesodote edane into ebalulekileyo namazofiki into ababalulekileyo kuleyo ukuthi sengisaziwa soyonke into ebalulekileyo phaezinesi ndiyaziwa into
What is exceptional is that I'm known all over, and that the reason I even mentioned here that I should be released is what you also mentioned now about my staff or my bridges at home. So that's what is important about me, and that I know as well as Christmas.
Yaziwa ekhona umuntu ephasene nomthetho
and that now my name is Christmas, and that is known, and that the nation knows me. There's nothing else there's nothing that will involve me with criminal activities.
Mr. Mafe, later on, as part of this affidavit, attached is a copy of your confession document.
Uthi ke kulama xwebhu ke awaphetheyo nithuthusile ikhona ke malunga ezinto ezithethileyo uma-edala.
Now, in that document, and I'm going to give you a chance to comment in a moment, in that document it appears that you hold very strong feelings against not only President Ramaphosa, but also against all of his cabinet.
Babonakala nje bakulandelo yakho ke abantu bethetha kakhulu ngamandla ngabo nguRamaphosa kunye nesigaba sakhe.
And where the question comes is that Colonel Tron will advise, and I think also during a video taken of your confession, that you indicated that you will repeat this conduct if your demands are not met.
Bakula video footage ke uyabakala ke ukuba ngaba uzaphinda uyenze le nto uyenzileyo ukuba ngaba isikhalazo zakho ke aziphunyezwa.
So my question to you is, so why should the state not consider you a threat or a danger to any member of the public or as any specific person in
Kulapho ke umbuzo wami uvelela khona into yokuba ngaba yintoni ezawubanga into yokuba ngaba singathathi nanjengomuntu oyingozi okanye oloyikiso eluntwini uba ungakhuluma.
Ziwa ngoba ndaziwa ngalo uthetha into yokuthi kukho abantu phandle abasele seyiqonda imeko yam bazokwenza uncedo kumfanele sihlale endlini.
As I'm known now all over, there are people outside there who are going to assist me that I stay at home. So that I don't think about anything about criminal activities, and then I don't become a threat to the people.
So, what do you, in answer to the question, are you suggesting that there are going to be wardens at your house that are going, or family members who act as wardens who will keep you from going out and committing offences?
Ingaba ke ndithethayo ingaba uthi into yokuba ngaba ke kuzawupha abantu abasemthethweni abazohlala ke bejongile phaa kwakho ungaphumi, okanye abantu bakokwenu baza kudada phaa ungaphumi for uba ungaphumi uyakwenza ulwaphulomthetho ngakutsho.
Hayi, phela kuba ngoku into esifana nokutya neesevisi zam ndikakakade ndihlupheka ngazo. Abantu ngaphandle nje oosomashishini bazawuba novelwano kum bayondobayeda ngento ezifana nendizidingayo endlini.
Okay, as I've said that I'm a poor person, when I talk about assistance, I was talking about my needs and services, because there are business people out there who sympathize with me, who's going to assist me, things like groceries.
Who are those persons? This was the first time we heard of it.
Sekuviwe ngam ndingumuntu ophi onjani, sokuthetha into yokuthi malunga nento yedeni abantu nje abakhulu ukuba i-high profile zababa sizawukwazi ngoku sizawuyazi nazo wonke umntu uzawuyazi uba ndikwibheyile ndihlala ndinante wonke umntu uzawuya phaa kum endlini nante ayokwenza umnqweno.
Sorry, this is quite a long explanation.
Yes, because the scattering light doesn't finish up the word.
My apologies.
So that's where
My apologies.
okay. As people have heard about me, and that now people will come to my rescue and assist me if the court releases, if I'm released on bail. Even the higher people or high class people will come and assist me. Or people, high profile people will come and assist me.
Sorry,
under my circumstances.
are you saying this generally, or is there a specific person that is coming to you?
Ngabantu nje abepolitiki, example ingayi FF plus
It's just general people, also politics, like people like EFF and FF plus, sorry, NF plus.
The FF plus.
FF plus, okay.
And we're coming to your system.
Okay, because of the leader of that political party resides in Northwest. Okay.
So have you approached any of these people? Have you approached them to assist you?
Zange izoba kokuqala futhi
Not at all, not at all. It's just because they've seen me, maybe from the photos, and they've heard about me.
dan saya
because of the circumstances and that I'm doing a bail application, they will go to where I'm residing in. In Kainij, or maybe the state will say that I should go and reside in Mafikeng pending the trial. Maybe they will, as I am. Maybe they'll come there to my home in Mafikeng, and that I'm on my own. I don't have parents.
Actually, lost track of the evidence now because it wasn't in direct response to my question. Sorry to interrupt the accused in his answer, but I think the method to my question is who's going to pay the bail.
Anyone who sympathizes, no? Anyone who sympathizes with me will assist me in paying the bail.
Sir, you've led on to us so far. Remember, the court needs to assess whether you are flightless. So you've led on so far that your parents are deceased. They're no longer, is that correct? Is that correct? It's not a trick question, you answered it earlier.
But I don't think I heard that before.
You testify that your parents are no longer. You said you have no parents. Perhaps I misunderstood you. What did you mean when you said you had no parents?
I have brothers, and the elderly people doesn't live for a long time. They end up dying. So I do have brothers. Yes.
When last did you speak to your brothers?
I call them during the year, or contact them during the year. They are married with their own house.
Have you contacted them before 2018? Or after 2018?
Okay. And then when you are like 2018, you don't have no brother back.
Have you spoken to them in this period now while you were in custody or any time just before you were arrested?
ngonyaka ka-2022 ngoba ngisevalele ile bona bavende indaba yabangabo abafuna information ayeka ngoba TV.
So I contacted them yes before my arrest, telling them that I'll come over to go and visit them. And then in the time I was in custody, that's when they called saying that they've been told that I'm appearing in the media.
So what little I know of marketing is in the far north of the country. Is that correct?
Yes.
How would you have found your way to Mafeking? From Cape Town.
Okay, usuka.
Yeah, I just want to place on the record that that question in relation to the answer that was given just now is senseless. The witness just said that those people would have seen what is arrested in the media, as it was said. I don't know about him now traveling from Cosmo to the Northwest or whatever is being suggested.
Another question is relevant to part of the issue that the court has to decide on.
He said he would have gone to visit his family. I want to know how he would have gotten there.
Yeah, we're glad to tell you what I was about born here. Come on, sit down. Okay, over about the children were born in about bands or about one and from corner who's our young child. Who's all the young child. Okay.
Quite a relative young or a couple of children in Simon's town in a
Okay. There is a relative here who works, I do have a relative here who works at the Navy in Simonstown. I will get a lift from him when he's going to that side.
So, because that brings me to my next question. What other family members do you have residing here in the Western Cape?
Okay, he's the only one who's here, the one that I mentioned who's working at the Navy.
Okay.
And then my other family is in Mafike.
So this person is known to you, is able to make an affidavit to state that you're residing and that you are fixed in the Western Cape? Is he able to do so?
Yes, can be able to come because he was even present at the magistrate court when I appeared there. So you
the magistrate called the city up to the governor of Kenya to nom to say
it was said that there should be a family member of mine when I appeared there at the magistrate, so he was present there. And then if you need him, I do have his contact details.
Mr. Mafe, I'm going back into the minutes. I'm just warning you, you don't need to comment on this. This residence of yours, Q321, Site B, Kailicha, was searched under a search warrant by the South African Police Service.
Q321 Site B, Kailicha.
Just my question, were you present at the search or not? Or no?
I was in jail or in custody all the time.
Sorry, Rashid. Just for the record, we object on the same basis that such a search, the lawfulness thereof, is not established. Thank you, Rashid.
Yes. The reason why I raised this is for 2 points. Okay. The first one relates to what the police saw at your premises. You earlier on mentioned your expenses. Can you remember? You listed our expenses, your DSTV expenses and these sorts of things. Now, you didn't mention to us what you pay monthly for your prepaid electricity, because there's a meter in your place for prepaid electricity.
Only 55 units, so near by your people want to 7 Zandile.
Okay. Only by electricity, 10 rand electricity per month, which it includes the free electricity, which is 55 units. 55 units. Which that accommodates me up until end month because I'm alone.
So the units that the government provides you.
So the yes, I need to support government. Yes, those are the things that I'm given by the government. So I don't have a problem with electricity. Only by 10 rand electricity.
Now, back to the merits. Besides the prepaid electricity meter found there were placards found in your premises. Placards, cardboard with writing on it.
Which you can apply like a meter for the one you get by Tinabo, the Boko, I'm a pair of like I'm a pair of by the way. With placards, I'm a gun. There's the paper.
And on those placards, there were things like release 2022, President Ramaphosa is a serial killer, lying around in your premises.
What you can like a long time, the Wapa into Bangabonus, Yonas, never cool or going to no good you can, oh, Mr. Ramaphosa and Mulan. We don't have to get the
Any comment?
Yes, okay.
Kalau pun depannya ada ujungnya orang, India leo ku jalan di kona Spanya ada punya apa?
Yes, you're supposed to find it there because that is my house. I'm residing there.
What are you telling us now? Are those your placards?
The longer ago, which is the placards are present.
I don't know Kanyela, Boba. Kalau punya India, so much of kita Bobona ini nanti punya kaya. So kita Kanyela Boba. Kelapa di salah kona, dalam koni berfikir khona ke iyachaza into yokuthi into enjalo ithina ke.
I can't dispute that because that is my house and anyone who comes there will find that there. Which one? Yes.
Sir, what is your plan with employment should you be released on bail?
Malunga ke nomsebenzi ngaba ucinga ntoni xa unokhululwa?
Hayi, ucala unomsebenzi apho apha ndinophinda ufumane khona umsebenzi andicicingile zomsebenzi okanye njena ndizophila ngecondition njenganditshilo ndathi abantu abathize abanovelwano koosomashishini politicals njalo bazobana novelwano benze kuba zokwenza into zona.
No, I'm not doing anything about employment because I don't think I'll ever get employment. The only thing now that I think I'll get is donations from people who sympathize with me. With those people are the business people and the political people. F plus.
Abanye abemile abantu
Also the party that I mentioned, which is the F class, and also other African parties, and also colored people parties.
So your intention when you leave, if you leave prison, is to live on donations and the goodwill of sympathizers. Is that your plan?
Injalo no yona ngoba nobani uyayazi uba akho ndawo inofuna ukundipasha, so inibutho izawukhongozela kum incede for ngalapha.
Yes, because there's no one who's going to employ me, so it's only the parties who's going to assist me.
Have you had any substantial offers of assistance, or is this categorical?
Ngaba ke ngaphambili kukhona uncedo kulifumana nawo okanye ke lithemba loba kuzaba njalo xa unokhululwa?
Hayi, ngakabuza ngaphambili into no ngaphambili kutani ndisoloko ndivota ndicela zafumana uncedo lungadelwa lwenzeke ngoku
if you're asking about previous leadership, I will vote thinking that I will get assistance. Ucimba uzonceda.
Ndake uncedo lungenzeki endana ngoku luzokwenzeka ngenxa yokuba uzobona imeko yam uba imajongo ndake ndizawuphila ngokwamkela.
And then leadership will not get assistance after voting leadership, but now because of my circumstances leadership, I will get assistance by getting donations.
Worship, have you this question in clarify?
Have you had any offers? That is what I'm asking. Have you had any offers, or are you hoping that people will come and assist?
Ngaba ke ikhona ke office oyaziyo okanye ke uthemba into mabakho abantu abazokunceda. Maranginga.
I'm sorry, Your Worship. Your maybe it's because of the mask. Your Worship said, if I heard you correctly, has he had any offers? And it was now translated as office.
Oh, I see.
Sorry, Your Worship, the interpreter is indicating to me she's uncomfortable, she's tired. Can they perhaps take a break?
Yes, I am also a bit worried about the applicant. I don't know what the arrangements regarding his lunch is that we have been carrying on for quite some time. It was an appropriate time to go back to adjourn.
Excuse me, sorry.
No, sorry.
Oh, sorry, you're on your feet.
I'm still on my feet. No, that's fine. No, Your Worship, we have not discussed it. We would, as far as the cross-examination can be finished, I can assure you that I won't be long in the examination unless something substantial comes up. So we can...
requesting for a body break for our
yes. Even maybe 15 minutes or so. Thank you.